And it is one thing that you will see about me. Me not afraid of nobody. All who want talk, make me one. Me will go with you toe to toe. Every nonsense you talk, I will respond to it. And as you would have seen with the government, man come out with foolishness, we respond, not go so.
Here, the Prime Minister, upon that thing, where I'm saying the people, where through fake information, I mean,
yeah, I get
I know fake, I know fake information is real, but you have to step up and develop an emotional IQ, you know?
Yeah.
You can't just take everything so and start, you know, joke a business that you're a leader, you have to have thick skin and know for deal with situation. That's why I labeling Baby Trump years ago. Labeling Baby Trump years ago. Yeah. You know? And the same thing now, show the same energy towards CARICOM. As a leader of CARICOM and all now in a year, him don't give him stand.
Black. And we see the people them gathering whole heap of confusion, yet whole heap of showing care. I'm glad for the showing of care. But you know, it's Jamaica this. So you have the in-between too. You have the in-between. But we are go through. So we are go up now in the holiday season. Everybody are prepared for it. Those who can. And all the whole heap of people don't have nothing. I go on for them, you know. You see when the holiday start, peer hot gals out there, you know. And them same one don't have nothing, you know. House top blow away and all them something there, but guess what? Anyway, them to find it, you know. Them find it and go buy this and buy that. And still I come and I tell you, say, why, me will stop live off, you know, can't help me with it. Watch and see where I go on, man. Watch and see. And now the girl them go come out. Over the years, we have presented a lot of speakers, lecturers, historians, based upon our African mindset. We used to play a 1 hour lecture, 1.5 hour. But that generation used to listen to it at that time is now sitting at the house still listening. But them have some younger ones now we are listening where them now go take the 1 hour talk on the radio that way there. No, them now go take the 1 hour talk. It will take too long. Them go switch all channel. So we have to go in our head cup and we say, how we will bring the information we used to give from them time there. How we will bring the information to these ones now we are listening. We love the program, but as we say, them time, them span of listening is not very long. You know, see, they want something where to go to the point. Well, I sit down and I think about it, and I look and I say, right, Instagram, them have YouTube. Them days we never have no Instagram or YouTube. But now, what I realized from the other day, and I've been collecting, is that a whole heap of the information, a whole heap of things what we used to say on the radio, when nobody never hears it on radio yet. You can't find them now. On the same little iPhone thing where them have, you can't find it. And we sit down and meticulously I go through all of the social media farm them to find things where we used to say, where people used to fight against the boat, where people used to say, a foolishness me attack. Even the other day, a man stopped me and I said, why, Muta? I tell you the truth, you know. Me used to think say, you're an idiot, you know. He used to fight against me. As a matter of fact, he used the same phrase them when me use when me talk about how people vex. He used to say, a dirty, barefoot Rasta man. Until him wake up to a realization. I don't know if we wake him up, but it wake him up to hear certain things when me used to say from some other source. And him start to listen to the program. And him not left it now. And him apologize to me. I mean, if you hear the man apologize to me. Let me say, all right, Bridget, all right. The man apologize to me. I want to hear him up, you know, and I don't remember his name, but him say he used to run a gas station in front of which part we used to have a store on Half Tree Road. I want to hear him up, you know. You're brave to come to me and tell me, say, you used to look for me a certain way and now you apologize. I feel good to know that. So you have some ones now where need the information, you know, but them don't want the 1 hour and the 2 hour thing. So you know, me figure out how to do it. And I've been doing it now for the past maybe year and a half and so. But I deliberately now start to dig deep to find these things now. In the same social media where everybody have. But them don't look on those kind of information. And I think that we can enhance them listening pleasure and enhance them information capacity to hear certain things. And a whole heap is it. A whole heap it is where we usually say, on this program especially, long before cutting it, stepping razor, we used to give this information. So now we find a way how to bring this information to the ones them, yet still not keeping them a fix on them radio so that them don't let them get bored. And we don't want them get bored. But as we say, we find a way how to do it. We find a way how to do it. And I sit down meticulously and download some things off of Instagram, off of the YouTube. Them days that we never used to do this because we never used to have that. We used to read book and just give the information. But now we can go up on all these little social media things and find the information. And I say, but wait. A long time, we are telling people them these things. A long time. On the radio, 30 odd years. And now we find out how to do it. How to do it. And we have been doing it. But we're going to step it up. We're going to step it up because a lot of information now come like in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, you hear so much things in 2 minutes that you can't say you never hear. Yes, because your listening span is not so short, but it helps you to catch on to whoever want to tell you, and also to make it so keen. Because only for one now go up on them social media platform to go look for where me I look for and bring to the public where me I bring. So we want to say, if we find what we call clips. And we have been playing the clips and people have been asking to repeat certain of the clips them. And we're telling them a long time, say, we're going to play these clips like how we play music on the radio. Because some of them is even shorter than the music. And we say 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Usually a tune is like 3 minutes. Now we find clips where give some information where in 2 minutes In 2 minutes you get that information, and that is how we want to do it. We're there with you on the cutting edge. Listen.
There are 54 countries on the continent of Africa that are black countries. There are 16 in the Caribbean that are black countries. That means out of 195 countries in the world, 70 are black countries. Yet not one of those 70 countries has a nuclear weapon. Not one has built weapons of mass destruction to threaten the world. Not one has ever invaded another land to steal, conquer, or enslave. Think about that. Our ancestors left nothing behind that the world can point to with shame. No genocide, no mass shootings, no record of crossing oceans to chain other nations. We are the children of the only race that never tried to wipe out another people. Yet look at us today. We are the most oppressed, the most exploited, the most humiliated and silenced on this earth. We are blamed for poverty caused by stolen wealth. We are told to heal from wounds that were never allowed to close. We are told to move on, to forget, to forgive. While those who enslaved us still live in the comfort built from our stolen labor. They call us violent. They call us dangerous. But we, the only race that has never unleashed war upon others, remain the most victimized on this planet. And somehow, despite centuries of chains, whips, guns, and lies, we still rise each morning. We still pray. We still smile. We still hope. We are what the United Nations has been searching for.
Yes, we are. Is, should be, could be. But we won't. Because we're not in that nature. We're not in that nature. We don't live for country and go in our next man's country, go wipe him out and take away him land and enslave him. We don't do that. We don't do that at all. No, we're in history. You can show me where Africans left Africa and go into a next man country and then take over him country and enslave him by murder and thievery. Show me it.
All problems in the world go back to the British. That's true in Pakistan, India. That's true in China. That's true throughout the Middle East. That's true here in Cyprus because they were the most powerful empire for 200 years and they left behind conflicts everywhere. You know, the disaster taking place in Palestine right now, one of the reasons is that between 1915 and 1917, the British promised the same territory to three different groups. So first in the McMahon communications, the British promised it to the Arabs. You fight with us against the Turks, it's yours. Then they negotiated the Sykes-Picot Treaty to say to the French, it's yours. Then in the Balfour Declaration in 1917, they said it's a Jewish homeland. So the British promised 3 times land that wasn't even theirs. And they got a lot of nerve as far as I'm concerned. And now you need to disentangle all of this. But this is where the problems originate.
Before Africa was carved apart by foreign hands, it was a continent of kingdoms, trade routes, empires, and rich civilizations. But in the late 19th century, a storm was brewing in Europe, one that would forever alter Africa's destiny. This is the untold story of how an entire continent was stolen, not with bombs or battles, but with pens, lies, and a conference table. This is the Scramble for Africa, the Berlin Conference, a theft in silence. In 1884, in a cold room in Berlin, European powers, led by German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, gathered to decide the fate of Africa. No African leaders were invited, no kings, no chiefs, no elders. 14 European nations and the United States drew borders like slicing a cake, claiming entire nations they didn't understand. Britain snatched East and Southern Africa. France grabbed the West. Belgium's King Leopold II seized the Congo. Not for Belgium, but for himself. He called it the Congo Free State. But it was anything but free. 10 million lives lost. Workers who failed rubber quotas had their hands cut off. One of history's forgotten genocides. African envoys wrote letters, pleaded, and sent messages for peace. But their words never made it past the European walls. Cultures, sovereignties, and histories reduced to zones of profit. By 1900, over 90% of Africa was under European rule. Entire civilizations were uprooted, languages outlawed, cultures demonized. But Africa did not kneel. From the mountains to the coasts, from the deserts to the forests, Africa resisted. In Ethiopia, Emperor Menelik II read their twisted treaties, trained his army, and crushed the Italians at the Battle of Adwa in 1896, a victory that stunned Europe. In West Africa, Samorai Touré built an empire through trade and tactics, resisting French invasion for 16 years. In Nigeria, Queen Amina had long defended Azau, and in 1900, Ya Asantewa, Queen Mother of the Ashanti, declared, "If the men will not fight, I will." Sheikh Zulu had already revolutionized warfare, his strategies inspiring resistance generations later. In Zimbabwe, the Shona and Ndebele fought. In Algeria, Abdelkader launched years of guerrilla war. And in Angola, Queen Nzinga outwitted the Portuguese with diplomacy and defiance. Resistance lived not just on the battlefield, but in poems, songs, stories, schools, and whispered traditions passed in secret. They tried to erase us, but we remembered. Divide and rule, the empire's silent weapon. When brute force wasn't enough, Europe used division. In Nigeria, the British propped up certain tribes over others. In Rwanda, Belgians created ID cards separating Tutsi from Hutu, artificial lines that later exploded in genocide. In Congo, children were taught to worship their oppressors. In churches, our traditions were labeled evil. In schools, our names, heroes, and histories were erased. We were taught to speak foreign tongues, to serve foreign kings, but even then resistance simmered. African intellectuals wrote, questioned, and taught in secret. Poets, parents, and prophets carried the flame of truth. Economic theft disguised as civilization. They claimed they came to civilize, but they came to steal. Gold, diamonds, rubber, oil, cocoa, cotton, drained to feed Europe's factories and finance its empires. In Congo, forests became death camps for rubber. In South Africa, black laborers dug for gold they'd never hold. In Ghana, cocoa funded Britain, while locals remained poor. Railroads were built, not to connect towns, but to move resources from mine to port. Taxes had to be paid in money, which could only be earned by working for the colonizers. It was theft disguised as development. The scramble's lingering shadow independence may have come, but the blueprint remained. Borders drawn in Europe still divide families, tribes, and tongues. In some nations, 5 official languages. None are African. Colonial laws still shape our courts. Schools still teach European kings over African heroes. Africa grows what it doesn't eat and eats what it doesn't grow. Our resources build luxury and tech abroad, while our youth remain unemployed at home. And when things break, the world blames Africa, not the system that broke it. But make no mistake, the scramble never truly ended. It just changed its name. Africa remembers. The resistance lives. They tried to bury our heroes, but we remember. From Samorai Touré to Ya Asantewa, from Shaka to Nzinga, from Abdelkader to Funmulayo Ransomakuti, the fight lives on. Some wielded swords, others wielded words. Some built armies, others built schools. Resistance lived in spirit, in the soul of a continent that refused to be broken. Reclaiming our voice, rewriting the story. For centuries, others told Africa's story. They called us backward, primitive, tribes without history. But we were never lost. From Timbuktu to Great Zimbabwe, our history was written in stone, song, and stars. Today, African scholars, filmmakers, artists, and youth are reclaiming what was stolen. We're renaming streets, rewriting textbooks, restoring symbols. The internet is our drumbeat. Diaspora voices echo across borders. We are not just reclaiming land, we are reclaiming identity. Because when you control the story, you control the future. We are more than victims. We are visionaries. We are the descendants of warriors and the keepers of memory. The scramble for Africa took our voice. This time we're taking it back. If this story opened your eyes,
balancing
expanded
truth
your
and
knowledge,
the controversy, addressing the youth and their calamity, motivated by concern for the whole of our liberty, the promise of a new reality, the cutting edge of true intensity, sole provider for the whole of our family, the force of brutal non-conformity, the cutting edge.
The flour had been milled in Western Europe from European wheat. Curiously, 3 of the bags in the lot had slash marks. Are they at that table? Investigation, reduce spending. We don't really have a problem with it. Was the CIA responsible for the poisoning deaths of 17 Jamaicans in 1976? Then Prime Minister Michael Manley certainly thought so, and he was not alone. According to a New York Times report, at least 17 Jamaicans died after consuming contaminated flour traced to a shipment of the Lionhead brand that arrived in the country from West Germany. A child and an adult were the first to die in one of the worst cases of food poisoning in Jamaica's history. About 78 others became ill after consuming the imported flour that was later found to have been contaminated by the insecticide Parathion. Now, what was curious about that case is that Parathion had been banned in Jamaica for about 5 years at that time. And there had also been a previous case of poisoning, of flour poisoning by Parathion in 1968 when 5 people died and about 50 became ill. Investigations later found that all the patients had consumed wheat flour from a single lot consisting of 5,264 cotton bags. The flour had been milled in Western Europe from European wheat and carried in trucks to a dockside warehouse where it was loaded aboard the ship after 2 to 5 days of storage. When the flour made its way to Jamaica, it had moved from the quayside to the outbreak locations along separate routes through 2 import houses. Site inspections and review of shipping records suggest that the likely point of contamination was the European port where foodstuffs and insecticides were stored in the same warehouse. Curiously, 3 of the bags in the lot had slash marks. Now, the timing of this incident couldn't be more suspect because it was only a few weeks earlier that U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger had visited Jamaica and asked then Prime Minister Michael Manley to abandon his nationalistic agenda. He wanted to buy out 51% of the foreign bauxite mining operations and planned, along with Mexico and Venezuela, to build an international aluminum processing complex outside the multinational system. But Manley's nationalism plan, which included increasing access to healthcare, education, and, very importantly, land reform, did not sit well with the United States. Manley was threatened to either abandon his agenda or risk the removal of the $100 million line of credit promised by the U.S. The poisoning was one of many incidents that had Michael Manley convinced that the U.S. government was out to get him. In 1977, the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica sent a telegram to the Department of State in which they said, Prime Minister still believes some CIA people were trying to destabilize his government and perhaps even assassinate him last year. With respect to the Duncan poisoning, he said he's satisfied that the CIA had nothing to do with it, but he is convinced that some of the same elements that were involved in the destabilization effort last year were also involved in the poisoning. Michael Manley would later say, looking back at the events of 1976, I have no doubt that the CIA was active in Jamaica that year and was working through its own agents to destabilize us. As history would have it, Michael Manley was right to be suspicious. The U.S. Office of Historian has a document that's listed under its Foreign Relations title 1977 to 1980, Mexico, Cuba, and the Caribbean. Memo 197 for members of the Special Coordination Committee. Subject, Covert Action Options for Jamaica. This paper proposes a covert action program in Jamaica. It has been prepared by CIA as a means of countering Soviet and Cuban moves to gain control over Jamaican policies and to expand their influence in the Caribbean. Our ultimate aim is either the political defeat of Manley and the replacement of his government with one more friendly to the U.S. and appreciative of U.S. interests, or at a minimum, the application of enough pressure on Manley and his People's National Party to force moderation of their foreign policy, particularly a reversal of the trend towards closer ties with Cuba and the Soviet Union. And the memo proposes several actions that they may take. Option number 1, unilateral. Establish direct confidential contact with Edward Seaga, the leader of the main opposition party, the Jamaica Labour Party, and also provide guidance, assistance, and funds to the JLP in the upcoming national election campaign. Option number 2, through the international network of covert action assets, call for retention of democratic institutes in Jamaica, condemn Manley's close ties with the Cubans and Soviets, and expose Manley's efforts to suppress political freedom and prevent free elections. And there are other historical documents which shows that the Gleaner Company newspaper and several local religious and community organizations were utilized in this option too. These are documented facts. Now, despite the existence of this memorandum and several declassified CIA documents, the agency continues to insist that it was not involved in any destabilization efforts in Jamaica. And there has been no distinct evidence that has tied the agency to the flour poisoning incident in 1976. But all these coincidences have led many historians to believe not only in CIA involvement, but that high-level U.S. government officials had signed off on the destabilization effort that led to the massive defeat of Michael Manley in 1980 and the propelling of Edward Seaga into government.
RFM, #1 reggae station in the whole wide world. Radio.
Yes. History. 11 o'clock. They are already upon the cutting edge.
They met in Berlin, Germany, at the invitation of the then Chancellor of Germany, Bismarck, specifically to come up with a strategy that once again would see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated. They spent 4 months, 4 cold months in Berlin, Germany, from November of 1884 to February of 1885. And by the time they were done, our Africa had been chopped up into the tiny little countries that we see today. Countries that were intentionally divided in such a way that individually they will never survive. That individually they are easy to exploit. The whole purpose was to see to it that they can continue to exploit the rich natural resources that we were endowed with in our beloved continent.
This African king crushed a European invasion, built a modern empire, and exposed a colonial scam in 2 languages. Meet Menelik II, an emperor of Ethiopia, and the man who told Europe, not today, not ever. It's the late 1800s. Europe is dividing up Africa like it's a family pizza. But Ethiopia? It was not on the menu. Italy hands Menelik a treaty, but here's the trick. They gave him 2 versions. The Amharic version said, "Hey, let's be friends." The Italian version? It sneakily claimed Ethiopia was now under Italian protection. Menelik read between the lies and said, "Nice try." So he leveled up. He unified the Ethiopian highlands, brought in neighboring territories, and built the borders of modern-day Ethiopia and a African kingdom under African rule. Now, to keep it real, not every group welcomed that unification. Some southern campaigns involved force, and that history is painful for many communities. But Menelik's resistance to colonization became a symbol of African independence, and that part of his legacy endures. Then, for For independence came the Battle of Adwa in 1896. Menelik led a massive Ethiopian army, armed with modern weapons, trained and ready. And they handed Italy one of the worst defeats in colonial history. But he wasn't just about defense. Menelik was a builder. He introduced railways, telegraphs, modern schools, and a national currency. He kept Ethiopia sovereign and self-sufficient, and protected everyone within its borders from foreign domination. Menelik II didn't just defend Ethiopia, he defined it. Unified, independent, uncolonized. Menelik II, the king who read the fine print and rewrote the future.
Cutting edge style. We want to feature this. The most contradictory religious teachings. Listen.
Welcome to Logic Over Faith. Throughout history, religion has claimed to be the guiding light of humanity. It has promised truth, morality, and ultimate answers to life's deepest questions. But when we look closely, what we find are endless contradictions. These contradictions are not just between different religions, but often within the very same scriptures and teachings that believers insist are perfect, flawless, and divinely inspired. If something is supposed to be the word of an all-knowing God, it should be consistent. Yet what we actually see are teachings that clash with each other, that say one thing in one verse and the exact opposite in another. And these contradictions matter because people build their lives, their laws, and even wars around them. One of the biggest contradictions across religions is the idea of free will versus divine control. In Christianity, for example, believers are told that God gave humans free will to choose between good and evil. But at the same time, the Bible repeatedly says God already knows everything you will do and has predetermined events. The book of Romans even says God hardens the hearts of some people so that they cannot believe. That means those people never had a real choice to begin with. If a God already knows the outcome and even manipulates your decisions, then what exactly is free will? And if you do not truly have free will, how can you be punished for choices you were never free to make? It is like a teacher giving you a test while secretly deciding your answers in advance, then punishing you for failing. That is not freedom. It is a contradiction. Another contradiction is found in the way religions describe their gods. In many traditions, God is said to be all-loving and merciful, yet the same texts describe God as jealous, angry, and vengeful. The Bible says God is love, yet also describes God drowning the entire world in a flood, wiping out children, animals, and innocent people. In Islam, God is described as the most merciful, yet also as one who will punish eternally for disbelief. If mercy means forgiving and compassion means letting go, then eternal torture contradicts that completely. A merciful parent does not burn their child forever for not obeying, and yet religious texts expect us to accept these opposite descriptions as if they make sense together. Consider morality itself. Religion often claims to be the source of absolute morality, but then it constantly shifts and contradicts itself. In the Old Testament, slavery is accepted and even regulated. Owning human beings, beating them, and passing them down as property is clearly described. But in the modern world, slavery is condemned as one of the worst evils in history. How can something divinely commanded in one era suddenly become universally immoral in another? Believers often argue that morality in Scripture was for its time. But if morality is truly objective and given by an eternal God, it should not need updates or context. If slavery is wrong now, it was wrong then too. Yet the so-called eternal Word of God said otherwise. That is a contradiction between timeless morality and time-limited commands. Another contradiction lies in the teaching of peace versus violence. Many religious leaders will tell you their religion is about peace, love, and harmony. But when you open the very same books, you find orders to kill. In Christianity, Jesus is often portrayed as a peaceful figure who told people to love their enemies. Yet he also said he came not to bring peace, but a sword. In Islam, one verse says there is no compulsion in religion, while another commands fighting unbelievers until they submit. In the Old Testament, God orders the Israelites to wipe out entire nations, men, women, and children. How can a religion simultaneously claim to be about peace while commanding violence in its foundational texts? This contradiction has led to confusion for centuries, where some believers cling to the peaceful verses and others cling to the violent ones. Both sides are quoting the same book. Even within personal teachings, contradictions are obvious. In the Bible, the 10 Commandments say, "Thou shalt not kill." Yet the same God orders his followers to kill in many places. If killing is absolutely forbidden, why are there so many exceptions? In fact, the biggest exception seems to be when God commands it, in which case killing is suddenly good and righteous. That turns morality upside down. Imagine a law that says stealing is always wrong, except when the president says it is okay. Suddenly the law means nothing. That is what these religious contradictions do to morality. The afterlife is another area filled with contradictions. Christianity says salvation is through faith in Jesus alone. But other verses say judgment will be based on works. Which one is it? If faith alone is enough, then good deeds do not matter. If works matter, then faith alone is not enough. And if both are required, then the claim that faith alone saves is false. This contradiction has led to endless debates within Christianity itself, with different denominations insisting on different interpretations. But if a perfect God wanted to guide humanity clearly, why give such mixed messages on the most important question of all, how to be saved? The role of women is another striking contradiction. Some verses say men and women are equal in God's eyes. Others say women must remain silent, submit to their husbands, and cannot teach or hold authority. In one place, women are praised as noble. In another, they are blamed for the fall of humanity. Believers try to harmonize these passages, but the contradiction is obvious. Either women are equal, or they are not. Either they can speak in church, or they cannot. The mixed teachings reflect the culture of the time, not the will of an eternal being. Even the idea of God's presence contradicts itself. Some verses say no one can see God and live. Others describe people who saw God face to face. Moses is told he cannot see God, yet later it says he spoke with God face to face like a friend. If no one can see God, then how did Moses or Jacob claim to have done so? These contradictions expose how stories evolved and changed over time rather than being consistent revelations. Another common contradiction is the promise of answered prayer. Scriptures often say, "Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find." Believers are told that God listens to prayers and grants requests. Yet in reality, prayers often go unanswered, and the same texts admit God sometimes ignores prayers. Jesus even said if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. But of course, no mountains move. People explain this contradiction by saying God answers in mysterious ways, or sometimes says no, but that directly contradicts the simple and bold promise that prayers will be answered. If I tell you I will give you anything you ask for, and then I don't, that is a contradiction, not a mystery. Let us also look at forgiveness. Many religions say God is ready to forgive anyone who repents. Yet the same scriptures describe unforgivable sins. In Christianity, blaspheming the Holy Spirit is said to be unforgivable. In Islam, dying without belief is unforgivable. So is God infinitely forgiving, or only forgiving up to a point? If his mercy is limitless, then nothing should be beyond forgiveness. But if some sins cannot be forgiven, then the claim of infinite mercy collapses. It is a contradiction between the idea of unconditional love and conditional punishment. There is also the contradiction of creation itself. In Genesis, there are two different creation stories. In one, humans are created after the animals. In the other, Adam is created first, then animals, then Eve. These two accounts cannot both be literally true. Yet believers insist the Bible is without error. Even within Islam, the Quran says man was created from dust in one verse, from clay in another, from a clot of blood in another, and from water in yet another. Which is it? Dust, clay, blood, or water? These cannot all be literally true, yet they are all claimed as divine revelation. Religions also contradict themselves about wealth and poverty. On one hand, believers are told to give up wealth, sell possessions, and live humbly. On the other hand, religious institutions themselves accumulate massive wealth, build golden temples, and enjoy luxury. In Christianity, Jesus said it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Yet throughout history, the church has been one of the richest institutions on earth. In Islam, simplicity is praised, but many religious leaders live in grand palaces. The contradiction is clear. The teachings denounce wealth, but the practitioners embrace it. Even truth itself is handled contradictorily. Religions often claim that lying is a sin, yet their own scriptures describe situations where lying or deception is praised. In the Bible, Rahab is blessed for lying to protect the Israelite spies. In Islam, some forms of deception are allowed in war or for reconciliation. So is lying always wrong, or only sometimes wrong? Once exceptions are introduced, the moral rule collapses into contradiction. What makes these contradictions so significant is not just that they exist, but that they exist in texts claimed to be divine. If humans wrote these stories, contradictions are expected because humans make mistakes and change ideas. But when something is claimed to be from an all-knowing God, contradictions should not exist at all. Yet they are everywhere, touching every aspect of belief, from morality to salvation, from peace to violence, from creation to the afterlife. Another contradiction lies in the way religions describe justice. On the one hand, God is described as perfectly just, rewarding the good and punishing the wicked. But in the same scriptures, you find examples where the innocent are punished for the sins of others. In the Bible, the children of Israel are punished for the sins of their ancestors. In Christianity, the entire doctrine of original sin is based on the idea that all humans are guilty because of Adam and Eve's mistake. How is it just to punish billions of people who never committed that act? Imagine a judge punishing you for something your great-great-grandfather did. That would be the height of injustice. Yet this contradiction is at the heart of religious teaching. God is both perfectly just and deeply unjust at the same time. The treatment of non-believers is another example. Some verses claim that non-believers should be treated kindly, that their freedom should be respected, that faith cannot be forced. Other verses demand their punishment, exclusion, or even death. Believers often choose whichever verse supports their attitude. In one context, they preach tolerance. In another, they preach punishment. If these texts were truly consistent, there would not be such mixed instructions. This contradiction has led to centuries of conflict, where people claim to be following God while treating outsiders in completely opposite ways. Another striking contradiction appears in the way suffering is explained. Believers are told that suffering is a punishment from God, but they are also told suffering is a test, or a sign of God's love, or simply a mystery beyond human understanding. Which is it? If suffering is a punishment, then innocent people should not suffer. But we see countless innocent people, including children, living in extreme pain. If suffering is a test, then what is being tested when a newborn dies in agony? And if suffering is just a mystery, then the claim that God is just collapses into empty words. Religions cannot provide a consistent explanation, so they contradict themselves, offering every possible answer at once and leaving followers confused. Prophecies also expose contradictions. In the Bible, Jesus said the end times would come within the lifetime of his listeners. Clearly, that did not happen. Believers now reinterpret the text, saying he meant something else. But the contradiction remains between the claim of accurate prophecy and the reality of failed predictions. In Islam, different hadiths predict signs of the end times, many of which contradict each other. In Hinduism, timelines of cosmic cycles are so vast and contradictory that they can mean almost anything. If these were true prophecies, they should be clear and consistent, not contradictory and vague. Let us also consider forgiveness versus judgment. Some verses say God will forgive 70 times 7 times. Others say God will judge every idle word and every small deed. Some passages describe salvation as guaranteed through faith, while others warn that believers can fall away and be lost. These mixed messages create endless insecurity among followers. Some live in fear that no matter how much they repent, they may still be judged harshly. Others live confidently believing they are forgiven regardless of what they do. Both groups point to Scripture to justify their belief. That is the contradiction of forgiveness and judgment existing side by side. Then there is the issue of human worth. Some verses say humans are made in God's image, crowned with glory, and beloved above all creation. Other verses say humans are dust, worms, unworthy, and corrupt. So which is it? Are humans noble beings with divine value, or are they filthy sinners deserving eternal punishment? The contradiction is obvious. This confusion affects how people view themselves. On one hand, they are told they are special. On the other, they are told they are worthless without submission. It is a psychological contradiction that leads to guilt, pride, shame, and confusion all at once. Even the idea of love is filled with contradiction. Believers are told to love their enemies, to forgive 70 times, to show compassion. Yet the same text describe God hating entire groups of people, destroying them mercilessly, and condemning them forever. If the divine model of love includes eternal torture, genocide, and hate, then love loses its meaning. Imagine a parent who tells their child, "I love you, but if you disobey me, I will burn you alive forever." That is not love. That is terror disguised as love. Yet religious teachings ask us to accept this contradiction without question. The Sabbath is another example. In some parts of Scripture, keeping the Sabbath is the most important law, punishable by death if broken. In other parts, it is dismissed as unimportant. Jesus is described as both keeping the Sabbath and breaking it. Paul says believers are not under Sabbath law, yet the 10 Commandments still include it. Which is it? Is Sabbath eternal or irrelevant? This contradiction has led to different Christian denominations splitting over whether or not to keep it. Again, a clear divine message would not produce such confusion. Food laws also contradict themselves. In the Old Testament, eating pork or shellfish is strictly forbidden. Later, the New Testament says all foods are clean. In Islam, pork remains forbidden, but alcohol is also banned. Yet in Christianity, wine is celebrated in communion as sacred. So one religion calls it holy, another calls it unclean. If God gave these instructions, why do they change? Either pork is forbidden forever or it is not. Either alcohol is a sin or it is not. These contradictions reveal cultural preferences rather than divine truth. The idea of God's knowledge contradicts itself too. Sometimes scriptures say God knows everything, including the future. But other times, God seems surprised, regretting decisions, or changing his mind. In Genesis, God regrets making humans and decides to flood the world. If he knew everything from the start, how could he regret? In Exodus, Moses convinces God not to destroy Israel, as if Moses knew better than God. In Islam, God knows all, yet humans are constantly tested to reveal what God already knows. Why test if the outcome is already known? These contradictions weaken the claim of divine omniscience. Another contradiction is found in the very definition of faith. On one hand, faith is praised as a gift from God. On the other, faith is demanded as a choice. So is faith given or chosen? If it is given, then no one can be blamed for lacking it. If it is chosen, then it cannot be called a gift. The contradiction between divine gift and human responsibility leaves followers trapped in circular reasoning. Even heaven itself is contradictory. Some verses describe it as a place of peace and rest. Others describe it as a kingdom where believers rule and judge. Some say everyone will be equal. Others say rewards will differ. Some religions promise paradise as a garden, others as a city, others as a mystical union with God. If heaven is real, why do the descriptions contradict each other so heavily? Another contradiction appears in the command to honor parents. Scriptures say children must respect and obey their parents, but they also say one must hate parents for the sake of following God. Jesus even said anyone who loves family more than him is not worthy. That contradicts the command to honor parents. The message is confused. Family is sacred, but also expendable. Even the concept of truth itself contradicts. Religions claim to be the one and only truth, yet there are thousands of them, each saying the same thing about itself. Christianity says Jesus is the only way. Islam says Muhammad is the final prophet. Hinduism says truth can be many paths. Buddhism says there is no creator God at all. Each religion claims absolute truth, but they contradict each other completely. They cannot all be right. If one is true, the others must be false. Yet believers often claim all religions share the same truth, which directly contradicts their exclusive claims. What becomes clear from all these contradictions is that religion is not the voice of a perfect, all-knowing being. It is the voice of human authors, shaped by culture, politics, and personal opinion. That is why it contains mixed messages, opposite instructions, and shifting morals. If you look at religion honestly, you see it mirrors human confusion, not divine perfection. And this matters because contradictions are not just academic debates. They shape real lives, laws, and societies. They justify violence and peace, equality and inequality, love and hate, all from the same texts. They leave believers in constant confusion, picking whichever verse suits their needs while ignoring the ones that clash. If something were truly the word of a god, it should be clear, consistent, and flawless. Instead, we see the fingerprints of human imperfection everywhere. In the end, these contradictions are not just cracks in the foundation of religion. They are the foundation itself. Without them, religion would not have lasted, because contradictions allow flexibility. They let leaders pick whichever teaching suits their purpose. They let believers explain away problems by choosing one verse over another. Contradictions are not accidents. They are the very tool that keeps religion alive. But once you see them clearly, once you realize how deeply they run, it becomes impossible to take claims of divine truth seriously.
To Rihanna, yes. I have been the virgin of lift me up, yes. Cutting edge. Yes,
Nice,
yes. Blessed man.
I tell them Muta cutting edge a cut.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, give thanks to them highly educated version that was going on in the world and what took place to us. I was still there at jog with feet.
Yeah.
Man, very impressed, man. Very impressed. As I tell you before, if I war start, I Russia my support.
Okay.
No England, no France, no US, no way. Because them countries are selfish. It's like a them alone. To live luxury life and black people living as scholars and Mike Henry said. Them not living as a scholar. Black people still are living as scholar. Still are live in a sewage water. Still are live out in a dirty place. Road is a disaster. MP a fight over money or make up nice over money. We just don't understand it, Muta. The private sector, them, we around the country, just hike up the price. I hear the Prime Minister say one thing, Muta, about price gouge. I hear it done. Hear it done there, so. I remember serving right back in COVID, me I buy saltfish for $200. Muta $700 each. Say 1,000, 1,200. 1,200, 1,300, and 1,000. So I ask the question now. Look what the people have go through the disaster. What the people have to get money. So it's like you just ultimately kill the people and no Muta because they have no source of living. They have nowhere to live. The food if you keep them alive, them can't afford it. Obviously, we are done. I kill them indirectly, Muta.
But who are they? I know the people them are going to something, I know the government.
Yeah, but the government who in charge of the country, Muta, just like how you can't set up a system where if a man don't have no license, the police can just make one button and everything come up. And when you give insurance to a private thing, or you give insurance to a private information and pass it on to the government. Them can't do something about it, Muta, but him not in charge, right? Him don't. Him can't go the private sector around Jamaica make a man do anything. Really, Muta?
Maybe I don't make
I used to buy saltfish.
Maybe I the man on the road that sell saltfish in a little shop.
No, but not mega Muta. Everywhere, Muta. Everywhere,
okay.
Muta.
Okay.
Everywhere you go. You used to buy a sweet potato for $200 a pound and $600 each and 4. And then the same thing when Darrell bars with
$600 a pound for sweet potato.
Yeah, and 4. So when we get some downtown today.
Virgin, we
get some downtown for 4. Today.
No, man, you buy things at the wrong place, Virgin.
The Muta, based on the traffic where we have in Jamaica, we have time to shop around Muta.
Yeah, man. If you want the best
based on the traffic, Muta.
No, if you have if you want the best price, you shop around. You can't
So in
have
other
one
words,
place.
Muta, we don't have nobody who in charge of the country there. Tell me that, no? Tell me that, man, so we know, so we don't expect nothing.
No, I'm not saying if you expect nothing, but as I say, if you find quite a few places that sell things, more than likely the whole of them now sell it for the same price.
Most of them people look like them people have them four look up to each other, man. May I tell
Them
them
are go
Muta.
shop the thing, man. Them are go shop the something them brethren.
All right.
And some of the
But
people
same thing with bus trainer Muta. Darrell Vaz had come and really and spoke to you on the stepping razor. About the
no,
bus.
I know me. Me not talk to Darrell Vaz.
Yeah. He me come on when the car raised, man, I say, wow, man, I say, Muta, talk. We call you and say, Muta, talk him a talk. But probably you make some announcement, talk him a talk. Because same time him don't talk. Say the bus fare or the taxi will about 130, 140. I say, Muta, talk him a talk. Because the next day that I go up and then nothing about
So how much is the bus fare now? How much feet now?
$200. I want 80. And the man go outside and piece it on them with that motor. Them are sure that guy can't do. Motor. Check JPFM. Every day the politicians come and make them press conference. Why? To make the international donor and feel comfortable so them to do something. Why is it that then these politicians, them MP and them not work for the motor? Want to them work before.
IMF give them enough money to satisfy the whole thing.
Repeat?
IMF give them the money to do what they want do in terms of get back the place together. But the problem is I have now is that they have to go pay back their money there, you know. Plus, want to all the money that we
plus want to the COVID money now, Muta, where some people get all the COVID money just dead totally. So, because I was told is that them pay 500,000 people and we are about 2.5 or 3 million people. So where the money there, we don't hear nothing more about the money, Muta. Nothing.
Yeah.
It just dead. It just got silent. We have to pay back, Muta. Where the money they go?
No, the money don't have to pay back. The COVID money don't have to pay back.
No, but with the rest of them, know a lot of people don't get the money, Muta.
Yeah,
thank you. What if people don't get money?
No,
and them are come no Muta. They're on TV now, like them are some angel and some them are some deliverer. Them are come deliver you. And them are come take you out of house. I'm tell you some Muta them not doing it for their own interest. Say Interior Commission charge one of them MP there. And him sell a property Muta for 100 million. And Jamaican
which part of the property there? Which part of the property there?
I remember it announced to them, I remember some property
today it announced?
It announced for JPFM. We heard for the news. Because them charge him and him a place him a rental. So how it gone out? These MP or these politicians can't afford because of the land to get Jamaican people. Because what? Them skyscraper will come down to nothing. Real estate will come to nothing. So they make a bag of money and fight. So all them just go in there and just a take land motor. 100 million motor. I know you're not aware with 2 million. I mean you're not aware with 2 million. And the people in live nowhere. No way. 80% of black people don't know
you have more than $2 million. I know you have more than $2 million.
Yeah, I mean.
See, they fire slaughter, so me know say you have $2 million. $2 million.
Yeah, $2 million money, Muta. But when I try to show you them left that selfishness, Muta, them have the same culture, the same philosophy as Europe, as France, England, and Germany. These guys do it. Because them they are customer carrying a motor and the money. Donation, when them get still in their account.
If you want, hold on.
I saw we're going to keep on oppress the people and push them down.
No, me not oppress nobody.
No, them motor, you understand? I saw them keep on do it and come up. You saw the people them sick motor, they make sure get a woman who speak immaculate English, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because them know, so we gravitate towards words, not actually, you know. Then make sure get home and speak eloquent English. So the international world look nice. So them can't send money. Why is it that they never jump, they never have the same energy when we were brother and sister there in Ukraine? Why everybody just step on board? It's because of the US we are doing it. I'm not busy on nobody wants to know Muta. It's because of the US we are doing it. Because these politicians want to spend money on the US. Them bring up, them take out them money long time. Because the people down there no live nowhere. And the place still dirty Muta. Look for Langley. Almost every day I drive a Langley and number 5 that road is still so. You go Waltham, the road I change some. It's a disgrace Muta. No road now fixed. And recently, you talk about them road after Berlin and the road fixed and they got back in. So look like them use some little schoolboy at 60 road. Go a long lane, mash up the whole of your front end, car, plus you have to give them tax. And the road there's so right along lane, terrible, and further up Stony Hill there's up before Red Garden, and them not do nothing about it. Not a thing, just a parade and talk. When them face time to do them work, Muta. I saw the US sweet them. One man owned half a St. Thomas, and my father said I'm going to politics with lean boot, and them owned half a St. Thomas, and them daughter that she lose, him son that they are on things. So it's a real dynasty, and him is a black man when I say, me that admire the man in African outfit, you know. So them know how to deceive the same way the one come with the rod ball still has to give him rod. So them know to deceive black people, and them have too much land, and them now go to the government and say, all right, we learn from COVID, here we are doing Jones. Cut up the land and give poor people, make them farm them, not even below farm. See the motor? I import the man of my plans to import food to come kill we have, to give them more cancer to come kill we have. And I come with pretty talk again. We should have feel yourself and sit back and look for the US and laugh. Food to come kill we have and strokes already, diabetes and kill the people and cripple up, can't move. No, you have left up for a roast.
I want you to listen to the program tomorrow. Yeah, man. To the program tomorrow. Very eloquent.
But we for build back Jamaica, Muta. My Andrew for build back Jamaica. We build it every day when I get nothing. Hendrix, them are one big bill and then for build it back. Anyway, big up to us. My brother from England and
Mandingo name.
Mandingo and our brother will ask for me there. Raspad, my general, yeah man. Yeah. Raspad. I'm out a long life here, but when I say out of them now, there's nothing more than come and get press talk and pretty chat. We don't want to pretty talk and Holness and your friend them. We don't want the people them.
You're my threatening war. You're George is a threatening war.
Me hear my go arrogant pan the radio, me do walk up, never just him.
I'm saying no threat out the man.
You mean him a carry on like him more aggressive than anybody else. And if you're a prime minister, you're a humble man. A prime minister for noble. A prime minister for stand out.
Look like him say my humble too long.
Michael Manley did kind of stand out despite him never do much still, but him as Andrew Holness as the prime minister of Jamaica, him too arrogant move and him just come first, innocent and just come and behave like him own Jamaica. Well, if him own Jamaica, him a matter and he saw my food and to build back Jamaica. We black people will stand up now and watch him build it. Because we build it for 4 parents, build it out without get nothing more than gunshots. Alright, and high cost of living. And that's what we get, and them keep quiet about it now. Big up yourself here, Muta.
Yeah, man, good deal.
Hail the great Mutabaruka.
Blessed man.
Yeah, I hear the Prime Minister up on that thing where him say the people where through fake information. I mean,
I get vexed with them.
I know fake information is real, but him have to step up and develop him emotional IQ, you know?
Yeah.
Him can't just take everything so and start, joke a business that you're a leader, you have to have thick skin and know how to deal with the situation. That's why me labeling Baby Trump years ago.
Baby Trump.
Labeling Baby Trump years ago. And the same thing now, show the same energy towards CARICOM. As the leader of CARICOM and all know in a year, him don't give him stand. I don't know where Jamaica stand as far as this Venezuela thing you go.
Neither Israel.
No, I don't hear nothing. I don't know where them stand. I don't know if them support them dep on the side like a Trinidad dep on our
last week I ball so they must come out and say exactly where Jamaica standing at
yeah, show your hand.
Yeah.
You know? You must show your hand, man. Because I want thing, you know, they better pray say Jamaica don't get cursed with some natural resources one of these times. And them people that want it. Because if they want it, then when you
have only for natural resources, man. The people them buy themselves with natural resources.
Yeah, I know, but in a year, this man you're gonna call we people like we cockroach, like what I'm say about the people from Somalia or whatever. You know,
you might call a woman like a piggy. You might call a woman piggy.
But in a year, when say about the whole of the people from Somalia where live in where they over Minneapolis. Yeah. Yeah, him say them what? Say the woman a trash, Elon Omar.
Yeah, well, he might think to stop all so-called third world country from people from coming to America.
Yeah.
He say stop third world country people from the third world from coming to America.
I wish they did say that 1970 or in the 80s to make it as see and the people would have build them country. Although enough people were running an insult when we hear insult, still, no matter them guys, although
take insult invitation.
Still, you know?
We take insult invitation.
Yeah, but it a change still, you know, because I hear a player a day junior gang mal, they say this slave miller grind slow, but it grinds still. So, I mean, you know, it a change, but too much people think say yes are the answer, you know. Yes, are the answer for everything we have, and we don't want to build our own and engineer our own reality. You know what I mean? We make them engineer our reality. Yeah. But like me here, you as a long time, you know, you see from your era, you make a man tell that from people determine what is your standard of beauty, what is your standard of right or wrong, and you run it down. That's the problem there, you know. So the problem deeper than just what we have seen, you know, on the surface, you know. Because these folks determine what is everything for us. You know, what is right, what is wrong, what is up, what is down.
When you must eat lunch, dinner, and breakfast.
Yeah, you know, and everything. And like, me see to them, me see a video. One of the twin them, me see make a video and when the prime minister say Jamaica people have dignity and a lot of beggy, but and a food kit. But as the brethren put it, they when them a give out election and them a give out them Kentucky chicken and a similar situation to when the people I run to get them care package now. You can't tell the people for one and more say the people like them stand up for their dignity, but when time you not have an election and give the people use the same Kentucky trick on the people and now the people you know the people in a need make them run on the care package of the people. You know what I mean? So the Prime Minister need to assess himself and look into himself, man. You can't follow up everything, you know. When you're a leader, you're supposed to be above. You want to lead the people. You're supposed to lead by example and set a standard for where you want to be. You know what I mean? Mm. And like the Virgin said, if a man, if them are show a fake story, you know, have to show the real. What is the real? You understand?
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that next man's side of the story, you know. It's like this whole communism and socialism and capitalism. Why the capitalists them always a fight against the socialists them? You have to make a man get a chance for him system strive. That's why we'll forever say like all the socialism of Venezuela and them thing that are real. Because anytime them man they try them own system, them man a whole heap of sanction or whatever. It not gonna work. It's a game. You know what I mean? And if you are going to tell if a leader is always on that threat, forget killer or whatever, he might go hold things to himself and try to protect himself. You don't know that?
Yeah.
If a man is always under pressure because he might feel watch for your stick over him head, he might go govern a certain way. There's some people have an opportunity to govern themselves how them would want it. You know, because you as the standard bearer of your big military, and you just deal with the people how you want to deal with them. You know? But anyway, Muta, big up yourself, and I big up the whole East Kingston, you know, Fireball, Star, Larky, Spratt, Brissy, Avila, Paralita, Dog, big up yourself, you know.
Right,
and I know you lose your mother still, so big up yourself and stay strong. And Muta, Cabo, all Mandingo, be respect.
Yeah.
Muta.
Yes, sir, blessed man.
Greetings in the name of the King Emperor, the Selassie. You don't know. I know anything, you know. I say situation in life is always rough and tough. But I as Rastafari must overcome the things said speed. You don't know. Our journey continue every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the addressing of matters is the key moment. People have to know, say, never give up. You know, say, Muta, snow I shovel today, you know. Because snow fall, which part I there from yesterday, you know.
Which part are there?
See? I there in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I shovel snow, and I tell you, say, the worst kind of snow that, because it covered rain. And you done everything hard. So, more time you get up and things tough. Like how more time in Jamaica right now, a man get up and him feel hopeless because things look like it didn't work out, you know. But you have to just hold the faith and know, say, Jah is the king and he run all things, and don't worry about the naysayers and the negativity and all of them things, because you're going to overcome the thing. Because it's a togetherness, you know, Muta. Right now, when I deal with my bridging them on there and call up and check and see how the thing I go, it devastated. And I know so enough people coming like them want to give up, you know. And sometimes when I reason like sound like it's difficult with now but end, but I want the people to know, say, just give thanks and praise every day. Hold steadfast to the faith, you know, because this is what I learn, you know, is that the foundation of Rastafari is the greatest energy in the world, in the Muta. I tell you, say, I study all the religious concepts and thoughts and things and manifestation of life, you know. And I say, you can't get no higher, you can't get no better than the element of Rastafari. Because we come with a certain strength, you know. I reason a man of the and I tell him, say, Rasta is the only opponent of the British Empire in the smallest number. We fight them undefeated up to this day. Because we take on the full blunt of the British government in the early part of Rasta movement. And we're still there standing, you know. So, I just encouragement to the people in the fullness. Don't worry about politicians and all them things. Them say, I'll show you something. Andrew Holness a toe the line with Donald Trump. See? And you know why Andrew Holness a toe the line with Donald Trump? It's because if Andrew Holness go too much on the other side, Donald Trump will draw the rug. Come on, I need enough people. And Jamaican, them now will get no green card, them now get no visa, them now get nothing. And that will be a crushing blow to Jamaica and the economical thing. So more time when you hear him say certain things, it's not that he know how to come out right and lick out on it, you know. But he know say, if he do that, they will go up on the ban country them, like how them gone up from 19 to 30 now, them a ban the country them. Somali right now have a big problem with them. And
You have a thing
They
go
have
on
a big problem with Somalia. I know Somalia have a problem with them. Somalia and Nigeria have no problem with them. You know. America have problem.
Yeah, in the sense where I say that America have a situation of war with Somalia. You have a thing in Minnesota right now where Somalian people them take over a place in Minnesota. You hear what going on, sir?
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah.
Man.
So it a create a adverse issue. You see me I say, because even for all, you know, I tell you something. You have to look upon it, you know, say, America is still America. It's still a white, racist, European, eccentric type of mentality. You can't get rid of that. So you have to look upon overall matter and say, you know what, I have an idea to progress in any way, form, or fashion. But we still have to look upon the enemy as the enemy. We can never forget that part. Because them is not our friend. It's not like random is friend, you know. It's just a matter of dealing with the situation as it is and knowing how it goes, you know? So when I say the justification of what they might do is about maintaining the balance in the world power. But we, as a people, have to stay together. The main focus that are our thing right now, you know, have to stay together. I listened to Kaboom yesterday, day before yesterday. She did a serial one and I got an interview where she been doing was in 2017 in Jamaica, right? And when you listen to them things there, you know, say, the spirituality remain, you know, because respect and God rest the soul of Jimmy Cliff, because a whole heap of things we know of them, man, and the tradition and all them things in our life. But we have to continue the journey, and regardless of how it may seem difficult, you them overstand. It is not about materialistic things, you know. It's loyalty, you know. That's why I tell you something more time. You know, say, I did America, both 50 years now. 50 years now, I did America. From I come America, you know.
50? 50?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, so it's not a...
50 you talk about?
Yeah, 50. Since I travel come America and live America.
Go and come, go and come.
Not,
You go and come.
Yeah, but a long time I not step out because I and the government would have some travel issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will tell you something. You know, so what they are them saying I have green card. Because I never have none, you know. You see what I say? And people are saying, oh, you can't get America so long as you don't become an American citizen. Motor. Loyalty not sell a shop, brother. Loyalty not sell a shop. See? When you're loyal, you know, you're loyal to a cause and a purpose forever until death. You see where I come from? So it's just you know, have to look on it on a level there, you know. Man, I tell you about dual citizenship and all them things. Listen to me. Them send I some paperwork one time to become a citizen of America. Right? And when I get the paper and look into it, it says if I pledge allegiance to any king or anyone in my lifetime, I have to make them know that. And I have to deny that. More time in the garbage, me show that. Because Emperor Haile Selassie I the first, I man pledge my allegiance and loyalty to the very end of my life. And I now give up on that. So you see, if America want me to deny the king, I put myself in a role of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It now happen. So me say, because that is what you have to give up, you know. You have to give up. People say, no, man, you give up. Because the minute you sign them paperwork, you know, and send them in, you know. Basically, that you say. So, more time you have to look on what it is. Man, I say, well, the benefits. What is the benefits? What does it profit a man to be in the world and lose his soul? So, overall, we have to look on Rastafari as the divine.
So what you do up there for the past 50 years? Where you do?
Eh?
What kind of work you do for the past 50 years? Where you do up there?
a whole heap of things, a whole heap of studies. I can't do all kind of thing. I'm an engineer, a whole heap of things. Teach the youth them, get involved in a community thing, enough things. Serve all the military, a kind of something. You know, see, the deal with it. My thing is people must understand certain things in life. See? My thing is to expose or pronounce or with the word I use, expose Rastafari. Show a man, say, listen, Rastafari will overcome all things regardless of the tribulation of face you. And that is the main focus. Marcus Garvey, I remember the UNI, you know, they joined the organization way back in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, somewhere around the 78, 79, trying it officially. You know what I mean? And I deal with the matter. The thing what me want to do them to say is forget the materialistic aspect of life because it now will get you nowhere. Now will get you nowhere. It's the spirituality of the king because the power of the king is so great that, you know, it makes you overcome all things, you know.
Hold on. Yeah. I know every one of them youth are Rasta, you know, brethren. And I know every one of them have a ton Rasta. So,
yeah.
But the level now when you say material things right now is a very important part of the whole thing, you know. Man, a ton Christian, no one talk about material things, no, but, you know, and material things is very important right now because some people right now have no house and no light. Some people have no food and them something. They need material things to make them get back themselves in a certain little levels. So, you know, I'm tired of hear people that talk about material things are important. Like him can't do it.
No, I know. When I say maybe I don't construe the conversation right. When I say important, I don't mean to say it is not necessary or necessitated within life. It's just the spirituality of life is of a greater significance to the moral principles of the mind than the
so where you call spirituality? Where you call spirituality?
The spirituality is the fullness of the awareness of who you are. In a German, them call it the Greece or the base, or the spirit of life, which is knowing, say, I and I come from a divine inner being under the auspices of Rastafari movement then. It comes to show, we say, look what His Imperial Majesty do. In a film example, a setting, the tone for I and I follow.
Yeah, but you're going back to where Rasta think, but I know I'm not sure, you know, and most of the youth don't think that we hear about no Rastafari, I know this, I know that, you know. And you as a Rasta, who as a Rasta think that. So you can't, every time you gear yourself, say, we as Rasta this and we as Rasta that. Well, most of the youth, them now look on it that way there. You know, I mean, you have people all over the world where you have a clue about where you say Rasta that where you talk about. So you have to function in that thing.
I like them to speak because I show them from my experience in our life and going through the thing. I see hearing the spirituality, the divine mindset then of overcoming things. The power of Rastafari give you that to overcome the thing, you know.
But you have people who overcome things and don't turn Rasta. You have people who overcome things and don't turn Rasta.
No, it's not. Listen to me. And I'm going to tell you this again. It's not say them overcome things. It's Rastafari make it happen. They may not know this. They may not know this.
What Rastafari make what happen?
The positiveness of the world is Rastafari.
So you tell them people that in India and China and them something, they're Rastafari.
Yeah, man. A one spirit in a motor. No matter where you go, no matter what you name them
one spirit, a culture. Brethren, a culture and a Rasta. Culture. Rasta come out of culture. Buddhism come out of culture. Hinduism come out of culture. Islam come out of culture. So everybody can have the same religion. One religion can't serve the whole world.
Religion, It's the concept of the energy, the spirit around the world. It's two spirits in the world, you know. Good and evil, you know. Two of them. And them did it.
So which one are the evil? Which one are the evil?
Eh?
Which one is the evil?
The evil
is
the one who come with the negative elements to destroy.
So where you call that evil? Where you call it? Where you call it?
Where I call it?
Yeah.
I call it the evil. Some people say the devil. But I
Alright, so where you call the good part? Where you call the good part?
The good part?
Yeah.
The good part. I, the spirit of I, Rastafari.
Alright, so if you call the good part, if you call the good part Rastafari, and you call the bad part, where you say you call the bad part? Devil?
The evil.
The evil. Alright, so me ask you now. So where the Buddhists call for him good part?
Well, I don't study Buddhism to that level if you know what
but are you a professor Rastafari is the only way? Are you a surprise?
Yeah.
Oh, Rastafari can be the only way, and Rastafari is part of a culture. Just like Buddhism is part of a culture and Hinduism is part of a culture. You can't come. That's why you have war, because the Islam, they must have them right. So they really want to attack people who are no Muslim. Christianity have Christianity right. They want attack people because they say they are no Christian. And now Rasta come with the same madness. I say just Rastafari.
No. Well on, man. Well on. I never say I go attack no one.
No, but I say I just Rastafari. And that's just say I just Rastafari.
That is what it is. Even though
what is
coming under a different name, but what it is love. It's love, you know. It's the concept of love.
Is not what Rastafari mean.
Eh?
What Rastafari.
In other word itself, Rastafari is prince to be feared. That is what
Rastafari want to be feared. Yeah, want to be feared. Yeah. So so are you not study Muslim? Are you not study Buddhism?
Yeah, man, I study Muslim, man. I study the Prophet Muhammad.
All right,
so the Christianity of the world. We go in a Buddhist on a level which part Buddha.
But you just have to say that you don't know about them.
Reasoning when coming in a positive light.
If Buddhism don't care for Rastafari. Buddhism don't live like Rastafari, because Buddhism is of a different culture. Them develop them spirituality out of the culture where them define themselves in. Just like Rastafari.
The concept, brother. The concept of Buddhism is about maintaining a balance.
No, but the concept me I talk about, you know. You know about Buddhism and about Rastafari, you know.
Right.
I'm going to say Rastafari and Buddhism is the same thing. Apparently, you are saying Buddhism and Rastafari are the same thing.
Yeah, the concept of it is the same, because guess what? If it's love, you know, Muta, it can only go one way, you know. It can't go no other way, you know. You see me, I say? The reason for the holy part ism and schism, you know, is because of man seeking power of self and to come under a banner of their will. Because if you check out most of the religious...
But you see, that is where you are doing. That is where you are doing, you know. That is where you are doing. You are one to come under your way, Rastafari.
Rastafari is the ultimate of the whole element who are one.
Yeah, that is where you are separated, because you is Rasta.
When man was created, you know. Listen, when man was created, you know, man was created for a purpose. The purpose of man creation was to serve the divinity of the Creator. Okay?
Man was made to serve the Creator?
Yeah.
Oh, you know that?
From my knowledge of reading and living.
All right, so the Buddhists who don't believe in no God and no Creator now, where same is now? Am I Rasta too?
The life what he live signify the element of Rastafari.
No, sir. No, go somewhere.
The Muta. Well,
I say Rasta, not the Buddhist. The Buddhist are not Rasta. The Buddhist is not a Rasta.
No, if a man is living in love, the Hindu.
But I'm living in love, him is a Rasta. Not because he's living in love, him is a Rasta.
No,
It's just
from the
that
perspective of
Rastafari
OIC,
come out.
that is the only word. That is the only word where I can connect with the love of life.
Yeah, but you're talking about every man now, but we're talking about other people now. You are connected with Rastafari, but the Buddhist man now connected with no Rastafari. He connected with where come out of the culture, where he come out of.
Yeah, but
Rastafari and Buddhism.
you don't say Rastafari is feel reasoning of the word, you know. It's just the liberty that makes it
but
what
in
it
liberty
is.
is not Rastafari liberty. A Hindu, a Muslim liberty is not Rastafari liberty. Muslims don't live like how Rasta live.
What is Rastafari liberty?
Rastafari liberty is where we create in our space, in our cultural expression, in a Jamaica, yeah, where we domicile upon these farmers and plantation island. We develop an attitude and a culture that we now pinpoint a man in Ethiopia and say Rastafari is the head of that cultural expression. No other people do that other than people who call themselves Rasta. Muslims don't call themselves Rasta.
Sure.
They do have no Rastafari where you are say them are Rastafari because them are deal with love. No go so. Rastafari is not just love. Rastafari is a cultural expression.
Yes, I over that. But the aim, like Marcus Garvey said, the aim and the full manifestation of the work of everyday lifestyle is about the expression of love. For love is the key to the whole solution
we're not fight against
of the
love,
problem.
no, brethren. We're talking about the identify everything under your banner. That is what you do. You identify everything under your banner. So you say, no, love is Rastafari. Well, love is Rastafari to Rastafari, but love is not Rastafari to Islam.
No, well, like I say, no,
Buddhism,
I don't
Hinduism.
look on it in the terms of, I say, Islam.
No, but you say like Rastafari will rule the world. And that name there is the name where you identify who are going to rule the world. When a man in Islam, when a man is a Muslim, Islam, him not even business about no Rastafari. As a matter of fact, him want to cuss Rastafari too. It's just that.
Yeah, that is from the mind, you know, because you see, the concept where we are living under is like, all right, the German Holy Roman Empire ruled the world for 2,776 years so far from my studies. See? It may change the name and the concept in a thought when it comes with disguise. It comes under disguise of different rulership and different places. But it's the same mindset of the people.
It's not the same mindset. It's not the same mindset. A Muslim and me do have the same mindset.
No, why I say is the German Holy Roman Empire ruled the thing for 2,776 years. And regardless if them say Britain, America, China, Russia, or whoever the rulership is, it's coming off of the same concept of thought, power, and manipulation of the people to get them to do what they so desire.
What them call that philosophy?
Eh?
What them call the philosophy where make them do that? What them call it?
Is a domination of thought.
Yeah, me know what them call that domination of thought. What them call it? Them label it
I
something,
would really give you a word for deal with that, you know, because it has so many different names within it. But it's basically to dominate your thoughts with the things that they see fit to do, and you must align yourself with it.
Yeah, but that people who say Rastafari rule the world, that them say too. That them talk about too. The ones who are called Rastafari, them talk about domination for rule the world.
No, it's not said domination to rule the world.
Yes, it's domination, brethren. It's the same thing the Christian them do to the world.
Right? Not about domination to rule the world. I and I as a people need a cause, need a format, a foundation to build upon. So the foundation we are built upon for equality amongst all is Rastafari.
Amongst all
so
who?
using the platform.
All who? Who you all? Who you call all?
When I say I deal with our people, like Marcus Garvey, that's it. Our people.
Yeah. But we just gone over upon another religion, we talk about Muslim and them something they talk. So all them people that come up with that.
We are saying, we not follow for them thing. We not follow for them thing.
Okay.
Because we not see, only thing we see for them thing is make war and abusive situation. So we not follow for them thing.
But you just say just a name.
Of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First.
All right, so a Muslim and a Rastafari is what? Is what? What them is? They have the same concept.
When a man a Rasta?
Eh?
When you say when a man is Rasta?
No. When a man is a Muslim, he have the same concept like Rasta.
The same concept?
If him a Rasta and a Muslim have the same concept.
No, a man and a Muslim come under Islam. Listen to me now. Islam is a procurement of a man's mentality, of a reasoning where he must say, the Prophet Muhammad say Allah.
Yeah. See? I identify with the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, that's how he must say. That's how he must say.
Yeah, I can't do how him live. Him live with certain rituals and certain way of life. Yeah. That allow him to be identified as a Muslim.
Yeah.
So how Rasta
but the central belief of the central belief of Muslim, which people don't know this, is it becomes like the Christianity. It says if one is not a Muslim and has served Islam, one must be put to death. There's no such thing in Rastafari. Rastafari don't come with that ideology.
No, so it's in a Rastafari too.
Rastafari. Listen to me.
Come on, I say, boy, you have a burn up in a fire.
A man bring that in I'm thought, A
man bring back everything will happen, a man I bring it, everything.
Yeah, but what I say to you now is, when we have to go after the philosophy and the reasoning and the thought process of the ruler, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, as much destruction as the Italian they bring to Ethiopia, when the war done, he said, no to the people, don't kill them, even though they have done us so much atrocities. Who want to go forward at them yard, let them go forward at them yard.
And him never identify with a cultural expression named Rastafari, because him was Rastafari. Him identify with Christianity. A Christianity him identify with. I just identify with Christian.
Yeah. So in the belief of it starts. Now, I don't know if you know this. The Orthodox Church, originality as it is, have no lot and part with Western philosophy of Christianity, because them ostracize them.
It no matter if them you have Eastern philosophy of Christianity and you have Western philosophy of Christianity. The two of them are deal with Christ, the Savior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And them do identify Muhammad as them Savior. And them do identify Haile Selassie as them Savior. Western Christianity and Ethiopian Christianity do identify Haile Selassie as them Savior. And we, Rastafari, identify that. So how you balance that?
How did we come to identify that?
Oh? I mean,
yeah.
True culture.
No, the question I asked you, how did we come to identify ourselves with Rastafari as the head of our movement, or to say the leadership then where we look towards?
It's Haile Selassie. How we come to that? How we come to that?
Yeah.
Because referencing history, referencing the people who gone before, like Marcus Garvey, and referencing to the elders them who will look upon and say, them say that, them say this, and them do that.
Yeah.
That is how we refer to Haile Selassie. But it gone beyond where it's now. It developed a culture of its own that identified clearly as something unique, it have a unique identification, which is the culture. The culture of Rastafari.
It must have a foundation. It must have a foundation that couldn't exist.
The foundation, may I tell you. Then the foundation, may I tell you about, Brethren?
Yeah.
The foundation is that
so the foundation is Rastafari.
These people who domicile in this plantation look to Haile Selassie, who is a Christian, and say, him is the one where they must identify as the center of them experience, and them develop a culture around that.
Yeah.
So that is how it comes now.
So what is the essence of the culture? What is the meaning? What
essence of the culture is a livity.
And the destiny of the culture.
The livity. For instance, we develop a culture where man smoke ganja. You can't go to Ethiopia and smoke ganja in front of Haile Selassie. Because that's how them tell the man, them say, yes, them can't touch a man, but no ganja smoking. All right. That is culture. We develop that. You have other people who have them culture. You have the sadhus. You have the sadhus in India who smoke ganja, said we. Ital food. Dreadlocks. You understand? Lick down Babylon, Marcus Garvey. Them think there is our cultural expression we define we. Christianity don't define that. Same like Muslim. Muslim have their own culture. Them say the woman must wear this, must that, won't put on that, wear this. The man, they must turn to the east, take off them shoes, and do this, wash them, and all sort of thing. That is culture.
True.
So it's culture that define the different things.
With that said, we are look forward to show up, enlighten the youth them on a level of a mindset to see the positiveness of life through Rastafari.
Yes, that is what we do. But you have other people who don't participate in that, who say Islam as for their mindset. And some people say Hinduism as for their mindset.
But it's not to say we are going to negate them, you know. But that is for them thing. And it's like a man that's saying you on your side of the fence. And you are doing. No, all I ask for is to give us the opportunity and the right to live accordingly to our knowledge and acceptance.
Nobody argue that. You have to take that. Nobody argue that. You have to take it.
No, where I say, we are give them the accord then. So we are make them it be known that this is all we are going to do. Or we are going to do our thing under the banner Rastafari.
Of course.
So if you decide you are going to oppose it, then we have to defend it.
No, but you must be arrogant and say the other man after the come with you.
No,
like a ton evangelist.
We must love me because it's about love, you know.
When I say, Bridget, we talk long now, though, but when I say, as can't what means here happen to Rasta, I say, everybody is wrong and them right. That means
you can't. No, you see, what one is a misconception.
You come with it, you know. You come with it, you know. You use the term Rastafari to define.
Listen to my reason, you know. I say, the materialistic thing is necessary, but you can't see that as the foundation of your building. You have to see that as a part of the program.
Yeah, everybody say love is the foundation.
Is more important.
So make us say love is the foundation. You want to prefer that?
Yeah, love, which is Rastafari. Love.
Yeah, but all right.
No, because look on the concept, you know. Look on the concept. Christianity come and say what them say. Muslim come and say what them say. The same I say. But them come with a force. Muta look on it, you know. Remember, you know, the religious concept for them come with, you know, is a force of nature, you know. Them a force you to take and to feel them thing. I not force come on. Remember, you know,
yeah, man, you have man and say, you have blood and fire. No, man, you have man and force. You listen to reggae music. If you have no force that one, man and say lightning and thunder, blood and fire for you. Eh?
That is where I go on now.
No, when a man dip on a record and I say, you're Eden, you're pagan, blood, lightning, thunder, and this. No condemn him, I condemn you in hell. And burn you up in a fire and them something. You know that him, do?
No, him just make an expression of
No, just no expression. He must express with blood and fire. Why can't say love and unity? Why must say blood and fire?
Well, that is the key to when I listen. From I know myself and I go
culture. It's a culture, brethren. It's a culture
of love, you know.
Everybody say that. Everybody say that.
We could have retaliated. Look on it away, you know. We could have retaliated against the regime them where we live under, you know. In a
but that was supposed to do. And that was supposed to do. Rastafari is an expression against colonialism and white supremacy. And now we have suck up the whole of it. We have suck it up like say, you know, it will save white supremacy and colonialism and all these things. We have suck it up. You know, see, anyway, we have to move.
Well, we come in a fight. Put it away there. So, long life, don't give up the fight and the struggle. I will up on the same page. So,
His Majesty say until, you know, we will fight if it's necessary because we're confident of victory over good over evil. So it's until the philosophy, you know what the philosophy do?
Yeah, man. The same reason why them agree from long time, say them superior above us.
White supremacy.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, we have to move, Reggie.
European ethnocentric beliefs.
Yeah.
Muta.
Blessed man.
Wagwan. Yeah, man. Everything is everything. Why fire hot on ya in Britain same way? Because Reeves, the chancellor, but they would call the finance minister in Jamaica, the chancellor of the exchequer, she come with a budget there where make one heap of the millionaires, them multi-millionaires rather, flee the country because it tax a lot of them. You know what I mean?
We hear about it.
Yes, increase tax on a lot of them and things, but most of them to pay more tax because listen, the wealth of every country, Jamaica, every country, England, is created by the people who work. No guy or girl with them so-called money don't create wealth. It's people who actually work and make things. And the ones who create wealth and sustain a society. And that is why when workers strike, everything crash. Because no matter how a person, a dictator want to go on in any country, if the people come out and strike, everything shut down. Because no society can beat the workers them strike. You know what I mean? And this is where Andrew Holness, Mark Golding, and others must understand. But what happens is that too many of the people in countries go on like them is sheep. Them only complain and not taking effective action. And the right to strike is a powerful weapon that can deal with any politician. No army or no police or nothing can stop the people united enough to withhold them labor. Because once they withhold them labor, society shut down. You know what I mean? And as Marcus Garvey saying that the philosophy and opinions that government must be an expression of the will of the people and not politicians, the masters of the people. In a philosophy and opinions. And no wonder PNP and JLP do have Marcus Garvey philosophy and opinions in the school system. Because that is in Marcus Garvey's philosophy and opinions. Them are African people in Jamaica, they know themselves. And you notice how them are itch, both parties around the Republic business too.
Yeah.
Yes, them no want it. Because them no Pan-Africanists. Eh?
Them no Pan yes and no thing, yes and no.
Yes, them don't want it. Them want to continue under the slavery thing where the Governor General represent not the people of Jamaica
but the British man can't think. Slavery business and them are what people, you know, things go quiet and yeah, man, them forget about it and things. Both parties. And I charge Andrew Holness and Mark Golding, both of them, with that same type of thing. You understand? Jamaica must become a republic. See? And we Africans must get reparations and things. And the so-called Justice Secretary here, David Lammy, whose parents come from Guyana, him under some serious pressure to, you know, and he deserve it, you know, Muta and listeners.
What with him now? What with him?
You know, say, for over 800 years, in England, them have a thing where the jury, which we have it in Jamaica, 12 people on a jury to decide the fate of people charged with crime. Well, the one David Lammy from Tottenham, yes, announced the end of jury trials for thousands of defendants. and MPs from all of the parties rallied, come out against it. Because what Lammy is saying is that those facing jail terms for under 3 years, including for burglary, theft, fraud, and some sex crimes, will lose the more than 800 years old right to be tried by 12 peers, by jury. And he might come with a lie about, quote, the bold but necessary move was needed to cut a backlog of 80,000 cases with some trials not due to start till 2030.
80,000 cases upon the book? 80,000 cases upon the books?
Yeah, a backlog of 80,000 cases. But but what him claim to be that is because them not providing the money so that the cases can be cleared.
Yeah. So like
that is the generalship.
So like
the fundamental thing is him want to get rid of the right. You know what that would mean? Is that one person, a judge, be he male or female,
decide the fate,
would sentence people, yes, which is wrong.
Decide
yes.
The fate,
yes.
Yes.
Boy, there's a wicked
like,
boy, man.
Like
David Lammy.
It's like England upon the decline, like America, man.
Yes, man. England is on the decline. You see, remember, you know, after the war with Hitler, you know, that finished off the British Empire, you know, and the new empire was the USA one, you know. And if you notice, England is indebted to the USA, you know, because them borrow a whole heap of money from them from the 1914 to 1918 war, the so-called First World War, that after them European war, and the next one from 1939 to 1945. And it's at the end of 1945 that the English pound, which was the reserve currency in the world, the number one currency in the world, was replaced by the USA dollar, you know, because of the economic power. Yes.
Yeah.
And now, as you remember, Peter Tosh from Westmoreland do the tune about pound get a blow.
The pound get a blow.
Yes, the pound get a blow for true. Well, right now, the dollar getting a blow, as you know. That's why them fear bricks and other things, because people realize that the USA use the petrodollar, the US's thing, to terrorize the rest of the world economically. You understand? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And where them a try go on with in Venezuela there and thing, and people in Jamaica and in Trinidad and elsewhere must not allow the USA to use Jamaica, Trinidad and thing.
Hold on. The Prime Minister of Trinidad don't declare, say, America can use it, and them is there now using it. America is in Trinidad.
Yeah, in Trinidad, yeah.
You never hear she say the boat people, they must kill all of them. Kill them.
Yes, man. Me know, man. The Indian racist prime minister in Trinidad, but people in Trinidad are against it and rightfully so because me have my people them in Trinidad. And
look here. Them be against it is one thing, but I tell you, say America in Trinidad right now, I set up them derricks. So where the people them I say they have no significance to which I don't know. No significance.
Yes, but what I'm saying, yes, but Muta, what I'm saying, but you have people in Trinidad who are resisting that still. So it's in flow because what happening, you see Venezuela and Trinidad are geographically the same, It's because of geological changes why the Gulf of Paria water separate, A lot of Africans in Trinidad, them family and thing originally from Venezuela, I know this personally, you understand?
Yeah.
And it's millions of Africans in Venezuela. Remember, it's them that support Chavez, and support Maduro now, because they were the most oppressed and exploited.
Obviously, them now make no difference in the country as it relates to the Prime Minister. Because she do what she wants, she tell you to kill them. I say, obviously, them not doing what them supposed to do for make she don't really agree with the American if you come in the country, make it have a base. See? So the noise of them I make is not loud enough. That's how I'm
No, it's not loud enough. So yeah, it need to be more than nice, more effective means of doing that, because we don't want the USA to be having no military bases in the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean. They've tried with Antigua too.
Them have the base in Trinidad.
Yes, but I'm saying that the people have to step up to move to get rid of that. You understand? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Move to get rid of that. Because the Prime Minister in Trinidad is a racist Indian, anti-African,
Yeah.
I tell you that straight. Racist, just like in a Guyana, and thing against Africans and thing,
Yeah.
People have to step up where that is concerned. We don't want no US bases in the Caribbean area. None of that. You know what I mean?
Well,
and we see. And we still, what school days, remember, H-Rock Brown.
We have to take a break. We have to take a break.
All right.
Break time.
Yeah, man. Yes, Muta. Yeah, man.
Let me ask you a question. You remember that group named African Head Charge?
Yes, long time.
Warm to them. Them not about again.
No, I don't hear nothing about them for the longest of while, but I gotta make some checks, like how you mentioned them name, and find out and let you know. African Head Charge. I remember, man, one time them was really
big
up in the news, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I do a tune with them, I do a tune with them. England there.
Yes, African Head Charge. Definitely, Muta. I gotta make some checks about them and make you know for sure. Yeah, man, for real. Them really was going on good, you know what I mean? And you know. Yeah, man. I'm glad how Traore are go on in a Burkina Faso, and also the other leaders them in a Niger and Mali against the jihadists them, because them jihadists there all in a Nigeria, the Fulani and Hausa jihadists them. We are murder Africans in Nigeria because them are not Muslim. None of that.
Yeah, but we don't know. That is why Trump send people go down there to know, him gone in that.
Trump move on. Listen.
No, but when I say him gone in that, him say none of that, just like where you are saying none of that. I the same thing him say none of that.
But my none of that is completely different from Trump, because Trump is seeking to get the island and other things in a Nigeria and thing there, and I use that as a front. Just like when him tell lie about since them in a suffering, about them being murdered and that type of thing. You know, Trump does not have the interests of our African people, neither in the USA, as we know, or anywhere. So Trump for move and go away. Trump for dump. Trump is a racist, a utter racist. And the solution in Nigeria is like Chinwezi, the Igbo brethren who is a Pan-Africanist who you know about, who write the West and the rest of us and decolonizing the African mind, is that we Africans have to stand strong against the Arabs and them African converts who are wage jihad because they want to bring the whole of Africa under the Arab Muslim regime. None of that. You know what I mean? Because remember, two set of enemies will have, you know, the Arabs did started first with the enslavement of African people still, and then the Europeans come in the 15th century. Both of them are enemies. You understand? Africa is for Africans at home and abroad. So we have to deal with them accordingly. So recently has been shown that they are being supplied, the Fulani jihadists them, with the latest weapons. Some guns were much better than AK-47 and that type of thing, you know. And them not no money. Them being sponsored by Arabs and others, you understand, who do want Nigeria and the rest of Africa to be able to develop peacefully and things. Because you know, notice it's pure war them want in Africa, you know. To keep like we're going on in the Congo and in the Sudan. So that our people cannot enjoy to have the highest living standards in the world. Because Muta, you know, say Africa is the richest continent. And if the wealth of Africa was used properly, African people would have the highest living standard in the world. Because we have the most of all of the natural resources. The coltan we use in every phone and many other things. You know, the Congo is a prime example. And we now leave out, we go on in a Darfur, the Janjaweed boy there must be brought to trial with his cronies who murder African people at El Fasher in the Sudan lately and who has been doing it. He must be tried and executed for war crimes, you know. And it's only we as African people can say about our business motor. Nobody else, as Marcus Garvey said. Self-reliance. So you remember H. Rap Brown, when we used to read a book in the 60s, in past age 82,
Yeah. And what's your name too from over Cuba there? What's your name again? Shaki, what's your name? Asata.
Yeah. She died.
Asata.
Yeah, she died some months ago. But H. Rap Brown died as a political prisoner because, you know, he was fighting our African people rights and things. Remember in book 8, they still have it from in the 60s there. Them time there, as you know, Theme Book and Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture book them.
Black Power.
If it was found with it. Yes.
Black Power. Van book like ganja. Yes. If they fire, they lock you up.
He lock you up, yeah, man.
What a thing.
Man. Serious thing. Yes, for real, you know.
Anyway, we're going to move.
Yes.
We're going to move.
All right, so remember, when I left off, Jamaica must become a republic. And Andrew Holness and Mark Golden are not the masters and owners of Jamaica. We, the Africans of Jamaica, are the masters and owners of Jamaica. And we must dictate what must happen in Jamaica. Right? Simple as that. No PMP and GLP. We are Pan-Africanists. Africa, the I and I Africans in Jamaica and elsewhere. Blessed love.
So the youth, them are going somewhere upon the road like them no business about life. Drive good. We're gone, you know.
Now the details. 5 international financial entities have jointly assembled a comprehensive package of up to $6.7 billion over 3 years to strengthen Jamaica's recovery and reconstruction efforts following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, which is one of the entities, made the announcement today. The other entities are the CAF Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, the Inter-American Development Bank Group, IDB Group, and the World Bank Group, WBG. Natalie Campbell reports.
In a release on its website, the IMF said the package was assembled following Hurricane Melissa and at the request of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. The IMF said damage from the Category 5 hurricane is estimated at $8.8 billion. It noted that the coordinated effort reflects a unified commitment to help Jamaica pursue a fiscally responsible long-term recovery through a combination of emergency preparedness financing, sovereign financing, grant support, and private sector investments. The announcement comes ahead of the call Prime Minister Holness will hold with representatives from the international financial institutions to discuss implementation plans. And the IMF has highlighted that Jamaica's robust disaster risk financing framework enabled a rapid flow of funds to meet urgent response needs. This framework facilitated an immediate inflow of critical liquidity to supplement the government's own contingency resources for a total of $662 million. The IMF said of that amount, $37 million is from the government's contingency fund and National Natural Disaster Reserve Fund, and $91 million from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF. Additionally, $150 million is from the catastrophe bond with the World Bank, $300 million from the IDB's Contingency Credit Facility, CCF, and $42 million scalable to $84 million is available upon request under the World Bank Group's Catastrophe Deferred Drawdown Option, CAT-DDO. The IMF said with Jamaica's over $8 billion damage bill, recovery will require significant resources and long-term investments. Comprehensive recovery planning is already underway, focusing on critical priorities and reinforcing Jamaica's resilience. The 5 entities are working closely with the government and the other partners to support this process. To that end, it said, a new financial support package of up to $3.6 billion could be made available to finance the government's recovery and reconstruction program over the next 3 years. To ensure Jamaica's recovery is effective, resilient, and informed by global best practices, the 5 institutions are also providing technical assistance and policy advisory services funded by grants that draw on global experience and best practices in disaster response. So far, $12 million in grants has already been mobilized from the IDB, the WBG, and CAF, with more to come. According to the IMF, together, IDB Invest and the World Bank Group's International Finance Corporation and Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency are actively working to attract and mobilize an initial estimate of $2.4 billion in private investment to support Jamaica's recovery and reconstruction, split equally between the IDB Group and the World Bank Group. The World Bank Group, CAF, CDB, IDB Group, and IMF say they remain committed to ensuring that Jamaica's recovery is grounded in a comprehensive and collaborative approach that leverages both international partnership and private sector engagement. They said by combining robust financial instruments, technical guidance, and a shared commitment to building forward better, Jamaica is well positioned not only to restore what was lost, but also to strengthen its resilience to future disasters. Reporting for IRFM News, I am Natalie Campbell.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says despite the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, the confidence of Jamaica's partners remains very high. Speaking during a tour of Negril Westmoreland at the weekend, Mr. Bartlett said no investor has indicated plans to withdraw or delay planned development. He noted that several large projects remain on schedule.
The second partners remain very high in the destination. So much so that every single property that had planned expansion and further development is still going through with their program. We left Palladium where we were just reminded that the 900, in fact it's 1,000 additional rooms that are going to be built will start construction in January of 2026. And we have the similar sentiments, and I haven't been there yet, but when I go I will have that report of the Trelawney properties that we know have plans for expansion. In the case of Bahia Principe, who we have heard about too, that expansion program is on. It's not only that they're refurbishing the 1,300 rooms they now have, but they will be building 365 high-end luxury rooms to add to that within the period. So when they open in early 27, they will be looking like a brand new hotel, employing up to 3,000 workers, addition to the already 2,000 plus that they have at this time.
Mr. Bartlett declared that by mid-2026, more than 80% of Jamaica's tourism assets should be active and working.
Jamaica is indicating not just a welcome, but we're also saying thanks. We're saying thanks to you for coming, and thanks for you who are coming. And we know that this will be a strong enough winter, notwithstanding the fact that we're starting with about 65 or 66% of our properties intact. But we are accreting to enable by mid-year to have more than 80% of our tourism assets active and working, and certainly by the start of 27 we would have had up to 90%, with maybe just one or possibly two of our partners not coming back fully.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett. In the meantime, he said Negril will officially reopen for business on December 15, which is the start of the winter tourist season. Mr. Bartlett said the uniquely styled resort area, long branded the capital of casual, has shown remarkable resilience, driven by strong collaboration among tourism partners, their workers, and surrounding communities. Colonel of the Accompong Maroons in St. Elizabeth, Richard Curry, has thanked the government for pledges made to assist in the community's Hurricane Melissa recovery efforts. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and other government officials visited Accompong yesterday. Noting that approximately 80% of homes in the area sustained damage, Dr. Holness said he will be assigning members of the Jamaica Defence Force to assist with home repairs. In a post on Instagram, Colonel Curry expressed gratitude for the allocation of resources. He said the Maroon Council and its partners will review the Prime Minister's offer based on relief assessments the Maroon administration conducted. Colonel Curry said in order to prevent project overlaps or wasted resources, the Council will provide recommendations to the government on how they can best help the community by tomorrow. He also gave a commitment to work with the government in the best interest of the Accompong Maroons.
Full Maroon Council as well as Office of the Chief has already been corroborating a lot of this data, and we intend to work in a collaborative way to bring the necessary assistance that is needed to those who are critically in need of that assistance.
Colonel of the Accompong Maroons in St. Elizabeth, Richard Curry. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is investigating reports of a fraudulent scheme targeting individuals who have sold or are planning to sell their motor vehicles. Criminals are reportedly contacting vehicle sellers via telephone, pretending to be police officers, and claiming that the vehicles they are planning to sell or have sold are stolen properties. Marlene Freeman reports.
The JCF says under the pretense of helping the sellers avoid prosecution or reimbursing the supposed buyer, these scammers demand immediate cash payments from the sellers. The police say the scammers then enlist unsuspecting rideshare drivers to collect cash from victims and transport the funds to various drop-off locations. The JCF is urging citizens to remain vigilant. It says under no circumstance should money be paid to individuals making such demands over the phone. Persons are also being reminded that no legitimate police operation involves soliciting or collecting money from citizens to settle criminal matters or reimburse third parties. The police say if persons receive a call of this nature, they should hang up immediately and report the incident to the nearest police station or Crime Stop at 311. Rideshare drivers are also being urged to be cautious of requests to transport unaccompanied packages, especially those suspected of containing cash, as transporting the proceeds of crime may implicate them in criminal activities. Superintendent of Police Victor Barrett of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC, says the police are actively probing the incidents and urging the public to report them. Such incidents can be reported by calling CTOC at 876-967-1389, the police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Reporting for RFM News, I am Marlene Freeman.
Chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, Sergeant Arlene McBean, has stated that the Little London Police Station in Westmoreland is an indication of the continued transformational thrust to ensure that work conditions for the police remain a prominent feature in national security. The Little London Police Station was constructed at a cost of approximately $200 million and funded by the National Housing Trust under the Ministry of National Security Project Rebuild, Overhaul and Construct initiative. It was commissioned into service on Friday. Sergeant McBean urged the police officers and citizens to take care of the facility.
The Jamaica Police Federation, we are pleased to witness the opening ceremony of another fit-for-purpose facility. Another facility where citizens can feel safe, feel comfortable, but more so the police officers who are always on duty. I want to use this medium to thank the Ministry of National Security, Project Rock, the National Housing Trust, our Police High Command, and the Property Management and Maintenance Division for ensuring that this project is successfully completed. I want to encourage citizens of Little London to take care of the facility and our colleagues to also take care of the facility to ensure that the sustainability of that environment is fully maintained.
Chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, Sergeant Arlene McBean. One man has been charged in connection with the seizure of 3 parcels containing a white powdery substance resembling cocaine during an operation along the Tower Isle Main Road in St. Mary on Friday. He is 48-year-old Jermaine Malcolm of Bogue Village, Montego Bay, St. James. Malcolm has been charged with possession and dealing in cocaine. Reports are that police, acting on information, intercepted and searched 2 motor vehicles. During the search of a white Toyota Corolla Fielder, the parcels were found behind the front passenger seat on the floor. Nothing illegal was found in the second vehicle. However, over $600,000 was seized after the occupants could not give a reasonable account of the funds. The vehicles were transported to the police station for processing, and 2 men were taken into custody in relation to the seizures. Malcolm was charged and his court date is being arranged. The other man remains in custody. The Joint United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS, UNAIDS, multi-country office for the Caribbean, says climate shocks, including Hurricane Melissa's recent devastation across Jamaica, Haiti and Cuba, have disrupted care, displaced families, and deepened vulnerabilities for people living with HIV. World AIDS Day is being observed today under the theme Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response. Director of the UNAIDS Multi-Country Office for the Caribbean, Dr. Richard Amenia, said following the devastating hurricane, many people in the region are rebuilding their lives while trying to stay connected to HIV treatment, prevention, and basic support services.
The Caribbean is significantly challenged because we are the front line of the climate crisis globally. And Hurricane Melissa is a typical example of what frontline states suffer when it comes to climate change. Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, we face this Category 5 hurricane, and it caused a lot of disruption from destruction of our health facilities, disruptions to our supply chain systems, and disruptions to services because the infrastructure has been destroyed. And so Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba are facing a challenging time at this moment as we celebrate World AIDS Day. And regardless of this disruption that is coming from the climate crisis, we still think that we need to be in solidarity and stand tall.
He reaffirmed the UNAIDS stance with Caribbean governments and people living with HIV.
We reaffirm our commitment to you. We reaffirm our commitment to persons living with HIV. Let's continue to act in collaboration and in partnership, create space for communities to lead this response in a very resilient manner.
Dr. Amenia is urging the international community to stand with countries most affected by the epidemic by closing funding shortfalls, among other things.
We are calling for everybody to get on board. We need to end this epidemic. We need to transform this epidemic, making sure that we are able to offer prevention services, including long-acting antiretroviral drugs for people who need it. We need to be able to continue to strengthen treatment services, continuity of treatment, such that all those who need treatment have access to treatment, and encourage everybody who has not yet done their HIV test to know their HIV test so that we'll be able to get them into care and treatment and retain on treatment.
Director of the UNAIDS Multi-Country Office for the Caribbean, Dr. Richard Amenia.